Hey there viewers, and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at getting the timing on our engine set correctly, installing the sump cover, and installing the valve cover. So the timing is fairly straightforward. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to install the timing belt. We're going to have it say Honda on it, going in this direction. So when the engine is upside down, you will be able to read the Honda logo. The next is we're simply going to slide the belt onto the camshaft. You notice there's plenty of room. It's exactly what we want. We'll put a small amount of assembly lube. I use this, not a sponsor, on the cam pin. Get rid of that little piece of dirt there. Smear it around, make sure the O-ring has lubrication on it. And we'll slide her up in. Make sure everything lines up good. And you want to make sure when you put that camshaft pin in that it is installed like I am showing you here. Okay. Otherwise it bends up the valve cover. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to slip the belt off the crankshaft. You're going to go top dead center on the piston, and you can see that there is a little indent where that needs to be, a little arrow, and then a line here. So we'll line those two up perfectly. We'll simply spin the camshaft to where these little timing marks, and there's two of them, line up flush with the flats here, and then we should simply be able to slide the belt on. And we'll just double check that. Everything looks good. Our timing is now done. Once the timing is all finished up, it is worth it for you to check the valve lash on this engine. So I'm just going to wipe all the garbage off the top. We're going to go ahead and install our two rocker arms here. I need a thrust washer and a couple of pins. With your camshaft lobe pointing straight up, like it is here, we're simply going to take the rocker arms and their associated pins, slide them in like such. Note the head of the pin is facing up. Yes, the valve cover does hold them in. Kind of a novel design. If you put them in upside down, you'll destroy the camshaft. Your next job is to take some Lubriplate or assembly lube of your choice, and you're going to put it on the not tapered side here of the crankshaft. Okay? Then you're going to grab your thrust washer, and it's got a beveled side and it's got a flat side, and you're going to put the beveled side facing the belt. So that way the flat side of it doesn't, chew into the edge of the belt. You're going to put a little bit of assembly lube on the washer and under the washer. So when I'm looking at it now, the washer is flanged into kind of a U shape so it doesn't chew up my timing belt. Next, you will need 8 of these shaped bolts. You will need 2 dowel pins. They're more than likely still stuck in either the block or your cover, and you're going to need some sort of RTV. So I'm just using a Max Napa Black, not a sponsor. You can use the RTV of your choice for whatever you like. Right stuff, whatever, really, it all works great. So I'm just going to squeeze the last little bit out of the tip. Freshly opened this tube last week. We're going to apply a, not a liberal, but probably a, I don't know, a little less than a 1/4 inch sized bead of RTV onto the flanges, both the valve cover and the block on this engine. First things first, we got to clean. Just get some lacquer thinner and wipe these flanges down because there's garbage on them. And our RTV will not stick there's any oil or anything like that on there, so make sure all that stuff is clean. We're going to do that on both this surface up here in the front of the engine and the sump cover and the valve cover. So I like to start up here at the top. turn the motor. Next, we'll place in 2 dowel pins. If you did not remove them, that is a-okay. And finally, the sump cover. Please make sure all of the goodies are installed in your sump cover. If you do not have this little hairpin, you absolutely must install the L-shaped governor arm before putting this cover on. Otherwise, that little guy falls inside your motor and you're doing this all over again. Gently smush down. If it doesn't want to go down, you need to rotate your crankshaft to mesh the gears into, well, mesh. Right, so some RTV likes to sit for 15 minutes, some for an hour. Just read the instructions on the container. This particular one actually says assemble immediately, so I am going to do just that. I will probably give it like 15-ish minutes though to kind of set up. I find less of it oozes out into the internals here of the engine. So while we're waiting for this, we're just gonna hand install, get all our bolts kind of started here, make sure everybody threads, and do not pull the cover down with the bolts, folks. You will break something. So sometimes I gotta turn the crankshaft a little bit, a couple light taps with a rubber hammer, you know, those types of things to get everything good. Find if you have to use a hammer on it a little bit, it's because your dowel pins are bent. So sometimes kids will pull them out and they will become ovals instead of, well, circles. All right, this is set for a little while. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the bolts down, starting from the inside, working my way to the out. Now we'll put the valve cover on. Notice our little tab here lines up good. We're going to hand tighten with our fingers, or hand install these 4 screws, bolts, whatever you want to call them. Everything goes in real nice. Give it a few minutes to set up. Well, there you got it, folks. That is how you do your timing, your valve cover, and your sump cover installation. Don't forget, if you are missing this little hairpin down here, you gotta put your governor arm on before you put the sump cover on. Otherwise, the little paddle falls inside the engine and take the whole thing back apart. I suppose you don't have to redo the timing of the valve cover, but still, major pain in the butt factor. So as always, thanks for watching.